What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Zoids vs. One! Alright, we're actually going to detract a little bit from the progress we've made and go all the way back to the Saber Tiger. The reason for this is I just wanted a little bit more mobility, and I wanted a weapon that can kind of point and aim wherever I wanted to go, essentially. We're going to be going up against two very tough Zoids in this fight, the Berserk Fury and another Blade Liger with attack boosters. So I'm assuming these are pivotal characters in the conflict here. Again, I can't understand what's going on in the story, but you guys have heard me say that enough at this point. So I think this is the first time that we've shown off the Berserk Fury in the Rottiger campaign. I know I showed it off in the Blue Unicorn one, but I'll talk a little bit more about it. Yeah, the Berserk Fury was like the rival Zoid, essentially, in New Century Zero. It was the new equivalent to the Genosaur, Genobreaker, and it's widely considered to be superior than that, just because it had some really ferocious abilities. It had a charged particle beam, just like the Genosaur and Genobreaker. It's always the dinosaur-type Zoids that are the rival Zoids, it seems, and or the bad guy Zoids, with the exception of the Gojulus, I guess. So this Blade Liger should be a lot easier to take down. It doesn't have nearly as much durability. It actually does not have attack boosters. It's just a vanilla Blade Liger, which makes it that much easier to take out. We don't have to worry about anything ranged. We just have to worry about the blades. So that's the end of that. But again, the Genobreaker, the Berserk Fury. The Berserk Fury, I've never really cared for its design. I thought it was sort of I felt like, because so many people were fans of New Century Zero, and because so many people were fans of New Century Zero, that the Liger Zero and the Berserk Fury were kind of being shoved down our throats, and that's kind of how I felt, especially when you get into Fusors and you see that, again, brand new characters, brand new antagonists and protagonists, and they have those two Zoids respectfully. I just thought that was a little bit weird, but the HMM, the high-end master model for the Berserk Fury, is absolutely ridiculously huge and one of the most difficult to build, from what I told. But my friend Brad up there in Chattanooga, who goes to many cons with me, he's the one who went to Anime Expo with me, where we saw the Gojulus the Ogre HMM for like $500. He has the Berserk Fury HMM, and I got to see it up close 2 weeks ago. Or was it last week? It was like last weekend. When we were up in Chattanooga for the aquarium, I saw it up close, and it's massive. Like, it's much bigger than the Ligers or even the Genosaur. He also has a Hasbro Genobreaker, and he has the Kotobuki HMM Psycho Genosaur, which is one of the ones I have as well, which I'll be building eventually. I think the next HMM on the chopping block for me is Leon's Red Blade Liger, then it's the Great Saber, and then it's the Psycho Genosaur. I'm just happy that I finally have it. So I tried to demonstrate an Iron Kong there off screen, and it went horribly, so I'm not going to be doing that again. The previous fight we had there was just against 3 Snipe Masters, which, again, I really don't understand why they're putting us against 3 Snipe Masters when we just fought the Berserk Fury, and we fought 3 Gojuluses in the last video, so really, what's the point of that, of the Snipe Master? They don't even give it an excess amount of health or anything like that. So here's the Snipe Master with a couple of other weapons attached to it. The Snipe Master was really sort of popularized by the game series, by the Versus Trilogy, and by Zoid Saga. Other than that, it doesn't make any anime appearances, and we never got a Snipe Master kit released in English. We did get, is a Takara Tomy wind-up Snipe Master, and I've seen them on eBay before, and I've contemplated picking one up, but it's not really high on my priority list. Essentially, the only weapons he has right now are these. He has that red cannon on his back, which seems like it could be pretty effective. That's something I wouldn't mind experimenting with, maybe, with a Snipe Master. And then he has those 2 missile pods on either side. As you can see, I'm struggling to even line up a shot with this guy, so you can see why the Iron Kong was not a good idea. The really bad thing about the Iron Kong is, again, the Iron Kong is really it really has a very effective melee attack because it uses its front legs, its fists to punch with, as an ape would, I suppose. But the downside is, where some of its weapons fire from, you have, missiles on its back that just fire from ridiculous trajectories and things like that. You have the weapons on its wrist that fire, which are pretty effective, but just lining up a shot with it, I wish they would just center in on the target a little bit better. Unfortunately, they don't. Oh boy, we have a big boy coming at us right now. We have the Zoids Giga coming at us. The Zoids Giga did not make an anime appearance until Zoids Fusers, but in the original Zoid story, Zoids Giga was referred to as Zoidzilla, or Zoidzilla, I should say, which it was sort of the Blue Zoid rival to the Death Soarer, I guess you could say. So, well, no, he was the leader of the Blue Zoids, but the rival to the Death Soarer was the Mad Thunder. We'll go ahead and get that straight. Yeah, Mad Thunder does not appear in this game, as far as I know. It's just the Death Soarer and the Death Stinger. No Mad Thunder, no Seismosaurus, no Ultrasaurus, and no variants of the Death Soarer as well, from what I can tell. No Bloody Death Soarer or Megasaur. The Bloody Death Soarer was sort of an invention for Battle Legends for Versus 2. And again, from the plot standpoint, it makes sense why you would be fighting a different Death Soarer than the standard one, because we already defeated that here. So it's almost like they're trying to bring it back from the dead. So the Dark Horn is really going to be our go-to muscle for the rest of the Rottiger campaign. The Dark Horn with the Beam Gatling Unit C and the Beam Launcher that's gonna be our workhorse for the majority of the rest of this campaign. Again, I'd love to show off some different types of Zoids, and I hope that I've done a good enough job of that as it is already, and I'll continue to do that as we go through this. But just really pitiful execution with some of them, just the Iron Kong and the Gojulus. Like, I wanted to show them off because they're really cool, but just gameplay-wise, they're just so bad, and especially the Iron Kong. Like, at least the Iron Kong has good weapons. The Gojulus doesn't even have that, and I tried to use the Gojulus the Ogre with the two massive cannons on its back. You just can't hit anything that's on the ground with them. It's just so poorly designed. I wish that the weapons would find a way to center in their target better regardless of the proportions of the Zoid. I even tried to use the Gojulus Mark II against the Death Soarer, and it didn't really work out too well. So here we have some Command Wolves and the Shadow Fox, and they should be pretty easy to take out. We already had that fight earlier with the Command Wolves and the Koenig Wolf, so this is nothing compared to that. And this will allow us to quickly... the Dark Horn is much bigger, much more muscular, but the Dark Horn actually has the Dark Horn and Red Horn both have a pretty good turning circle. It's not especially difficult to aim with them. They're kind of on the slow side, but not too bad. Not bad. Just one more to go. I do have to say they did a pretty good job in this game with mapping and modeling the Zoids to match their model counterparts. They really focused in on a lot of attention to detail with the models in the game. So the models in the Zoids Versus trilogy look a lot like their Takara Tomy motorized or wind-up counterparts, but they definitely do not look like the HMM versions. The HMM versions take a lot of liberties in terms of design to make them look cooler, and sometimes that's a pretty great effect. Like, I like the HMM Dark Horn. I'm not sure I'll ever get one, but that would be really cool. Okay, so we got the Dark Spiner. I'm going to quickly just show this off here in the garage. I'm not going to actually deploy it because it's not really a good battle to use it with right now. I just want to show off the different colors that it comes with and some of the weapons available for it. Nothing really good for it right now. We don't have the Killer Dome for it yet. But yeah, the Dark Spiner is, as you guys know, was famous in Zoids Fusors for being the sort of rival type Zoid for that series, just like I talked about with the Berserk Fury. But I would say in this game it can be useful, and I'm definitely going to want to use it just because it's just that cool. But again, right now it's just not a good time. Right here we're up against they heard I was talking shit about them, and so they came for blood. Here's the Iron Kong PK and the Gojulus, which the Gojulus is going to be easier to take out because it has Well, I don't know if I should say that or not. It has worse weapons, but the Iron Kong is still going to be a pretty big target as well. And the Iron Kong, like I said, has a more dangerous melee attack, so we'll try to stay clear of that. The Beam Gatling unit, pretty effective against the Iron Kong compared to the Gojulus. It's almost done. There it goes. That wasn't too bad. Looks like there's one more Zoid in the area we have to take out, though. I still haven't used the beam launcher. We still have full ammo for that. You'll notice I don't have missiles equipped to the Darkhorn. I could have missiles equipped to it, but there's really no reason, frankly. I'll never really use them. I just have the, what are you? Oh, you're another Darkhorn, cool. And you have a similar layout to us. You have the Beam Gatling unit, but you don't have the, beam launcher like we do. Well, sucks to be you. Alright, so in this one we're going up against the Berserk Fury and the Storm Tyranno. Really quick, I want to show off the Killer Dome, and I actually did do a test run where I brought the Dark Spiner into this fight to see if the Dark Spiner equipped with the Killer Dome could defeat these two Zoids. It's possible, I really don't recommend it. Man, the Killer Dome is spinning like crazy. As I've established, the Killer Dome is its own separate Zoid, which is featured as a Hasbro into Karatomi, like a wind-up model, but it never got really any screen time or any noteworthy mentions or anything like that. It was meant just to be a combiner with the Dark Spiner, and that's pretty much the only purpose for it. It was definitely the prototype Fusor Zoid. So it looks like the Terra Geist faction is finally rearing their ugly head. So we saw Leviathan Viper in the previous cutscene, so I'm led to believe that we're having to fight up against them here. Again, I wish it would I wish it would tell us who the enemy pilots were. We could get maybe some voice dialogue from the enemy pilots while fighting against them. We get a little bit of dialogue from ours, which is in Japanese, so it automatically sounds a little bit better than the awful, terrible dub in Battle Legends, which is why I turned off the voice acting in Battle Legends. I almost forget about that as I play through the series, that I was like, hey, wait a minute. I have literally had the voice acting muted on Battle Legends since I started the game years ago, and never turned it back on. But then moving to Versus 3, I was like, oh wait, it's in Japanese, so there's voices that are not terrible. There's no, you are the great warrior, even though I think it still says that at the end of the text still appears on screen at the end of each tournament mode. So yeah, we're fighting the Berserk Fury and the Storm Tyranno, which are basically the same Zoid, but the Storm Tyranno is a little bit beefier and has the melee weapon of the Geno Breaker, essentially. I've talked about it a little bit in the previous campaign, and I managed to get stuck here with a perfect window for me to just snipe it from across the map with a beam launcher. This is really kind of sad. Again, I wanted to show off the Killer Spiner in this level, but unfortunately it just wouldn't work out too well for me, so the Darkhorn again is going to be our workhorse. But yeah, the Storm Tyranno, pretty cool. Then you finally have the, what's the final one? Oh no, this is the Storm Fury. So there's the Storm, there's the Berserk Fury, the Storm Fury, and the Storm Tyranno. So the one we just had was the Storm Fury. We're gonna switch to it right now. We just unlocked it. Cool. Time for the final battle against the Death Soarer, and we're gonna have the Blue Unicorn team as our ally this time, and they're gonna be providing us with their Gojulus the Ogre as an ally. So here's the Storm Fury, which is really, really cool. The actual base Berserk Fury, like the head and everything, looks different than it would on the regular Berserk Fury, so it looks a lot cooler. Other than that, it's basically the same, but it has those little blade things on the side that the the Xenobreaker did. So nothing I'm really crazy about. There is an HMM available of the Storm Tyranno, the red one, but you can only get it from the Kotobukiya website, although I would recommend checking that out because it's pretty badass. Wow, the Gojulus, the ogre, just jumps like right in front of us. Alright, it's time for a heavyweight fight against different dinosaurs, I guess. So, the Deathsaur is going to be spawning way over here, with plenty of distance between us and it to just open up on it with the beam launcher. So again, 250 damage per shot when we have 120 shots, so we should be able to deal a pretty good amount of damage to it before it gets close to us. The only thing it's going to really try to hit us from for that distance is the missiles, but if it switches to either the abdomen cannon or the head cannon, we're going to have to get out of the way. We do have boosters equipped on the Dark Hornets before that. And again, if he brings out the the missiles disappear before they can even hit us. If he does bring out the charged particle cannon, we can dodge that pretty easily. And he collides with the ground in a comical way, and we beat this campaign. That's pretty much all there was to it. And one thing that's interesting right here in this cutscene is there's no sign of the Terrorgeist group. So, but they will return in Zoids vs. 2, or as we know in America, Battle Legends. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be moving on to the tournament mode next time.